All right, Miller, time limitless. This is a fan of Keith Lee and how Keith Lee got to be Keith Lee, this guy. His question is, what is going on with Andrade and Sammy? And then there's another question. It says, I saw a picture of Tony Khan with Sammy at his wedding. Is Tony getting too chummy with his bitches? It's clearly a British guy. When was the last time you said chummy?
I don't think I have.
Are you getting chummy with your chums?
Yeah, never.
So, never. So what is going on with this? What's going on with this business?
Just little kids starting fights.
Really? So that's CM Punk, yeah?
Yeah,
I guess you could
pretty
say
much.
this. Yeah, you could say the same thing.
Some people are saying that Andrade was waiting for Sammy Guevara, because Sammy Guevara was saying some shit on Twitter. Andrade didn't like it, so Andrade wanted to fight Sammy Guevara. But I think some people think that Andrade was getting into a fight with Sammy to find his way out of the company, because Andrade wants to go back to WWE.
Well,
Everyone knows Andrade hasn't. Andrade has been in AEW for a little over a year, and he's been unhappy. I don't blame him, but it's just crazy that it's a running trend with former WWE guys like Miro, Andrade, Malachi Black, just not being happy. But then again, they weren't happy in WWE. And then you got guys like Sammy Guevara, who is one of the four pillars. Like, well, if you don't like it, then fucking leave or stop being a little bitch. It's like, bro, like Tony Khan overhired. For one, he overstaffed a roster. For several reasons, I understand why, but like he is not like using a lot of these guys as he should be.
So did they pick a fight like a Twitter fight, or did they literally fight?
I think there was a physical altercation.
Oh.
They had a scrap there, Andrade versus 10 match because of that. So, and apparently Tony Khan booked a mask versus career match because they wanted to get all this speculations of Andrade leaving AEW. So he booked that match. I'm assuming 10 was gonna lose his mask.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that match got scrapped. But I think another thing is like Andrade is trying to do it just to leave the company. You know, to get fired from the company.
I understand. Man.
But that's just another thing that is just giving bad publicity to AEW right now. With all these fights breaking out, people not liking each other.
Right.
It's not good. Like it started a few weeks before pay-per-view. It really started was when Eddie Guerrero and Sammy Guevara got into it, and then Eddie got suspended for a few weeks, and then
Eddie Kingston.
And the whole
I was like Eddie Guerrero,
Kingston.
bro.
I was like Eddie
Guerrero. And then
Latino
now
Pete.
Sammy Guevara and Andrade, and now Andrade suspended for probably a short period of time, but it's just I don't know. It's like a running trend in AEW with a lot of this shit.
What's a running trend with Sammy? Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, Sam likes to run his fucking mouth. He's a little douchebag.
Right.
Well, but it's like if he's the common denominator here, I don't know.
He's a pillar. He's a pillar of AEW, bro. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, Sammy, I've watched a few matches of Sammy's. Like, granted, it's like I don't watch AEW. I wanted to, and then it's not my style. But I've watched, like, I wanted to see Sammy, like, for instance, Sammy versus Cody. And that was a good match. That was a good ladder match. But the thing that stood out to me was it was a good match, and then it kind of came to a crescendo. I forget now. I just remember he got to the point where they did some ridiculous high risk maneuver. That was I was like,
The
okay,
cutter.
this is surely through. This is sure. Well, I don't remember exactly now because it's
It
been a
was the.
while. But I remember that
Oh,
match
sorry,
kept
I'm
going
yawning.
on. No, it's okay. It's just
Yeah.
the match kept going on, and I'm like, oh my god, they could have ended this like 5 minutes ago. They could have ended this 7 minutes ago. Like, I just remember going like, this is now like it's getting kind of ridiculous. It's like overdoing the punches. But still, that was still a pretty interesting match to me. Like, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty good match. I just felt like they went a little too much. And what Sammy put himself through, like, I don't know if he does that all the time, but if he puts his body on the line like that all the time, I tell you what, man, he deserves to talk some shit. He really does deserve to talk some shit. Um, but Andrade, if he doesn't talk, if he just dresses up and looks cool, he'd probably get further. Like, once he starts talking, like, English is not his best suit, and he could use that in his favor, and he's trying to be something. He's just not there yet for me. Like, I don't think Andrade is a bad wrestler though. I think I think Andrade could be good. I think he's got the look. It's like when I listen to him, he's just not there. He's still like, this is still like how a bad guy or a good guy is supposed to be. Like, I'll meet you in the backyard and we're gonna wrestle. I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, everybody says that. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Like, I don't feel like Andrade can really talk a lot. Although he's obviously, like, even this is better. Like, if they just use this as a feud,
Well,
you know,
he had a talking. What do you want to call it? So, like, what do you call them? People that talk for him.
a valet.
Speaking, whatever. Like Heyman was the Brock. Um,
What, Zelina?
Andrade's always had someone to talk for, like
Yeah,
be his talker.
yeah.
I don't know. I know that he had one coming in when he was in AEW. I don't know if he has one now. I don't really because I don't know what he's doing now. But
Yeah, that was like
yeah. I
what.
mean, obviously you got to make that right connection. You know,
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. And
the right people with them. But obviously, it's more than just this people's happiness.
yeah,
They're they're not getting what they were promised, or they're not getting
what they think they're supposed to be getting.
right, or what they thought they were supposed to be getting. They're not getting it. Mhm.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least that seems to be
yeah.
the similar thing that's going on with everyone else.
Well, there's this mentality, and you guys tell me what you think. Like, there's this mentality of, um, I have to really be so sure in myself to show this, like, um security or confidence, you know? Like, I have to show confidence, and there's probably more than two different types of confidences, but I can only think of two. There's a confidence where you're supposed to be confident, so you are trying to be confident, and then there's confidence where, like, in a wrestling term, where you know exactly what you are as a character, who you are, so you don't have to be confident because you already know. And so, like, it's probably very unfair to compare Andrade to MJF, but MJF has got the confidence. But his story doesn't change. He's got the same story. It's very simple. With Andrade, it's like, what is Andrade trying to be? Like, he's still like cookie cutter character.
He's trying to be different than what he was in WWE.
Well, but and yet he's still the same. Well, yeah, like okay, he's not
it
necessarily
works,
the
but
same as he was in WWE because
no.
it was on a tag team with Garza. Um, but the character is just it's this cookie cutter.
I think
Okay, go
when
ahead.
it comes to well, at least when it comes to WWE,
Mm-hmm.
I think Santos Escobar came in and took over
Yeah.
what Andrade was could have been.
Well, that's Andrade's look.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his look. Suits, you know.
Well, right, that leader of a group,
Yeah,
that's what they're doing or trying to do with Garza and
Andrade.
no, the other guy. Not no. Andrade was lead. He was the leader of Garza and
I forget
Carrillo.
to. Oh, that's right. Okay.
I couldn't think of his shortened name.
You know why?
But that was the thing because it doesn't matter.
That's right.
But no, but Escobar has taken that role, and you can't really have the same. You can't have the same gimmicks. And but anyway, but ever since Andrade went to AEW, I liked Andrade. I was
I
a big
did
fan of
too.
him. But then once he went over there, I don't know. It just something was different. I don't know if it was who they put him up against or just how long it took him to do anything with him. The same thing with the Malachi Black. Like they just it was so everything was just so drawn out and like immediately put into a long storyline, and I just can't get invested in those stories.
Yeah.
So
Well,
and if I don't get invested in their stories, I'm not getting invested in their wrestlers, and I might as well not watch it if I'm not enjoying it myself. So.
yeah. Well, Rymac, you've seen Andrade wrestle? Well,
Yes.
more than we have. What do you got to say?
Yes. I love Andrade, man.
Yeah.
So little fun story. I it was about when was Andrade NXT champion? 2019? 2018?
18 probably.
I went to an NXT house
Mm.
show in Daytona Beach, Florida, and there was a battle royal. They opened the show with the battle royal winner. Got to face Andrade later in the night. The battle royal was won by Raul Mendoza.
Oh, okay.
Now his name is Raul del Toro de la Cruz or some shit. Toro del which is I think is a stupid name. You should go back to Raul Mendoza. Those two had a killer match. Raul Mendoza and Andrade had a banger. I loved it. I will never forget that match because, dude, it was great.
That's
Great
been
fucking
4 years.
match. Yeah, they had a killer match, and I'm very high on the whole Legado del Fantasma, like Raul Mendoza, um, Santos Escobar, and oh my god, what's the other guy's name? I forgot it. Oh, Joaquin Wild. I'm high on those guys. I love Mexican wrestlers or Hispanic wrestlers. I love them all. They know how to. That's like I like that style, you know.
Don't forget Zelina
Like
Vega now.
guys like Ray Phoenix, Pentagon, Ray Mysterio. They all just know how to really get me going. You know, I'm invested into it.
Mm-hmm.
So watching Andrade and Raul Mendoza, those guys were really putting on a show, man. And you don't really see that every day. It was like a special treat for those people that was there live. I mean, it was recorded because at every single NXT house show I've been, there was like a camera recorder set up,
Mm-hmm.
so they record all of their house shows for the archives.
Okay. They're not on Peacock.
No, they're not. Probably will never be on Peacock.
Okay, so you like him. So so it's why hasn't he? Do you think why hasn't he gotten over? Um, as far as AEW, and what do you think he's missing? What do you think it's missing there for him?
No, I just think it's just I think it's Tony Khan hired too many people. He didn't had nothing to do with them. He couldn't find anything for him because he's just too busy with everybody else. Like, I can sit here and name 10 guys that he brought in that he shouldn't have brought in. One of those obviously being CM Punk. But when you have a full roster of just such top tier talent,
Mm-hmm.
what did you do? You can't fit them all on the show every week. You can't put them all on the pay-per-view.
So you got to do something even more spectacular to get yourself over to get
Like,
the attention.
I'm pretty sure Andrade is on Dark every week, but as a backstage, like they do like a backstage segment with Andrade because he's part of the Andrade office bullshit with Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, and Roosh. But that, or Dark Elevation, whatever. I know they've been doing some of that bullshit, but still, man, like you have Dynamite, you have Rampage, you have Dark Elevation and Dark. I get what they're trying to do with Dark and Dark Elevation. One of those two needs to go away.
Mm.
I don't care what it is. One of those two needs to go away. They just need to go away. I feel like they need to focus on Rampage, maybe making it 2 hours, and then they just need to eventually stop hiring people and just thin the herd. After that, they need to start thinning the herd. That's what, dude. Tony Khan. That's why, like, I'm not sure if you guys heard earlier this year. Tony Khan let go Big Swole, which is was it Cedric Alexander's wife, because she wasn't entertaining. She wasn't good. He literally even said that. Tony Khan, a savage motherfucker, said Big Swole is not entertaining and it just does not have it. She's not good. And that's just fucking wild. Where a booker and a promoter says something like that about a wrestler. Oh, Tony Khan got a huge, but letting people go, like he let Joey Janela go. He didn't renew his contract. He's not going to renew a lot of these guys' contracts. It's already been stated. The contracts aren't going to get renewed. They're just going to expire. Happened to Stu Grayson. Happened to Alan Angels, Joey Janela, fucking Marco Stunt. I mean, it's going to keep on happening to several people that Tony Khan believes is just not at that level. So if he sees that you're not putting up numbers, he's just not going to book you. He's just going to wait for your contract to run out. He's not going to release you. He's going to keep you under contract and pay you because he can afford to pay you.
Which is what happens when you bring in so many new people that are already above that level. And you bring them in and you just completely, you don't give these people a chance to grow. Because like when like AEW started, like Joey Janela, I would say is one of the, not pillars, but he was one of the original AEW guys.
He was.
I enjoyed watching.
Kip Sabian was there too. Kip Sabian was a day one or two.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with like Marco Stunt with Jungle Boy and all them. Like,
the thing is, Marco Stunt
like,
just he dude. So listen to this little story with Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt was afraid to like be up there with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Like, dude, Chicago last year, Rampage or the Rampage before Chicago, or Rampage for All Out, that was in Chicago. They cut a promo for the live crowd. CM Punk was out there, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt was just sitting in the corner while the three of them were cutting a promo and talking. Marco Stunt should have been standing right next to them, you know, bracing the moment, but he wasn't. He was literally just not there. And that's what I think was like a downfall for Marco Stunt. And probably before that is just because I just don't think I wouldn't put Marco Stunt in my company ever. Even if I had a company and I were to choose 10 guys, Marco Stunt would not even be in my top 200. But when Marcos, but the thing is, Marco Stunt was given a chance and he didn't take that chance.
Right.
He could have easily did something. I mean, look at fucking Dude, I watched when I was in DC Wednesday, and during that they were taping matches for Dark Elevation. I saw Brandon Cutler versus Serpentico, and probably one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen. It
Hmm.
was great. I loved it. I was telling Shay, I was like, 5 star, 5 star, Shay. This is 5 stars. He was laughing, and I'm like, dude, this was a great match. Brandon Cutler put smiles on people's faces with the whole hairspray thing, or whatever the spray shit or whatever that he sprays.
Yep.
That's great, dude. I love it. And then Serpentico comes out with Luther, and Luther's great. He's not the best, but he's great talent. He definitely knows how to make people laugh because he likes to scream and shit. So it's funny, and then dates back to like having a character and going out there and trying to do something with the crowd. I understand this is Dark Elevation, but watching Brandon Cutler versus Serpentico was very entertaining, and I would have watched that over Marco Stunt.
Right.
So guys like Marco Stunt just didn't cut it, and it's going to keep on happening to guys. Like a lot of the Dark Order members, that's why they're getting released. Or not getting
Mhm.
released, they're just not getting re-signed. And Tony Khan doesn't want nothing to really do with the Dark Order because they haven't been anything since Brody Lee passed away.
Right.
And it sucks to say, but you put a bunch of guys together that no one knows. The only person they know is Brody Lee.
Well, it's like, yeah, like they lost the identity. I mean, I know this is like way off subject, but AEW lost its like identity of like this new wrestling. Like
Oh yeah, the
a
honeymoon
lot,
phase is
a lot
over,
of the
dude.
wrestlers were like new, and I mean, unless you were super hardcore and you knew them from the indies or whatever, but like as far as the new mainstream, it was all new, and like it was good. I was actually watching it like every week for like almost a year, if not a little bit, probably a little bit longer. But I was watching it, and then it just once he started bringing in all these people, and it just started overflowing. And like I said earlier, it just like you're hiding people that I was tuning in to watch you. You're hiding those same people with people that I'm used to seeing, and it's like now you've completely changed your company, the look of your company. Um, so it's just
No, I see that, and that's why a lot of guys like Andrade are getting mad. They're not being used.
mhm.
The whole Andrade situation and uh, Miro. Like I said Miro. He's another one who's been getting upset. So I think this is Andrade trying to get this out by getting this little altercation with Sammy Guevara because they got into it. There was a bunch of different reports about that whole thing too, and um,
Well, then it's just like the going to the public and like making it personal.
yeah,
That's where like Sammy's just a little bitch, and he's just always just on the spotlight, just a little more brighter on his side. I think like ever since him and Tay Connie have been together, like I just yeah.
I know everyone's
To
giving Sammy shit for that. So
I used to not mind him, but then like he just I don't know what they did to him, but they just like gave him like this like star power kind of gimmick and just wanted to be in the spotlight and just that arrogant. Like if that's his
mhm.
character, then he's doing a good job. But I've seen too much of like publicity and like outside of wrestling that I don't believe it's just a gimmick, and that he's just like this little just a little bitchy asshole. And I just he just turns me off. And
Who turns you on though is what we really want to know.
it's
Well,
too
it's
hard.
it's 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 a how do I put this? It starts with an S, and it's not Lance, but it is the same name. Nothing. Huh?
Vance?
No, Lance. Well, it's Lance Storm, but never mind.
Stormy Daniels.
Oh.
Oh, there's another part. Well, no, Lance Storm does not turn Big D on. I don't think.
Not anymore.
But not anymore. It's too cold in Canada, man.
ECW days, huh?
Oh shit! It's the other Storm.
But
Yeah. What do you get when you mix Tony Khan and Lance Storm?
Tony Storm.
Ah, yeah, there it is. Ah, okay. There's another question too. It's a two-parter. He said,
That's right.
"I saw a picture of Tony Khan with Sammy at his wedding. Is Tony getting too chummy with his bitches?"
I don't even know what that means.
Like he wants to be everyone's friend.
Friendly.
Everyone's his friend.
I mean, dude, your boss should be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, if I was Tony Khan, I'd fuck it, yeah, I'm coming to your wedding, Sammy. Like, what the fuck?
Well, what happens
Like,
when
we're gonna be doing lots of blow anyways. Let's fucking go, bro.
what happens when two of your best talents go at each other, like physically, and you're friends with both of them, and they can't stand each other?
Well, obviously, he's more friends with Sammy because he sent Andrade home and not Sammy Guevara.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Which
what does that say to the...
That upset me to a point. It's like, wow. So you're sucking Sammy's dick.
Yeah. Well, he's got more future with Sammy. Like, what does that say? But not a voice or a vote of confidence for Andrade.
It's all about take on him. He'd much rather be closer to Sammy to get the take on him than be closer to Andrade and see Charlotte.
Well, I mean, what that just did. If you don't want to be that close to greatness, there's nothing I could do. I think that's ridiculous.
Vince McMahon would go to like his employees' stuff.
Yeah, but it seems like
he just never made it public.
Yeah, is he not friendly with some more than others? Like to that kind of like a buddy thing. There's like a lot of buddy thing. I think is what's being
probably
insinuated.
Right.
And it's like that's just tougher to be impartial later. Really,
he's got to be with the cool people.
Yeah, well, the cool people change, you know. I think Andrade, like you guys have valid points, man. I feel like Andrade is just missing the like. I just don't think there's a vote of confidence for Andrade at all in AEW. Like
he's just, he was awesome in NXT.
Yeah.
But then it's like almost like once he got the call up to the main roster, I really don't remember too much, especially singles wise.
Yeah, I mean, well,
a lot of that had to do with COVID was a big reason. But yeah, they just changed it. I don't know.
Well, he was with Garza there for a long time.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be him and Garza. Because originally it was at that WrestleMania during the COVID, and they had the ladder match. They were supposed to be a part of that ladder match with the Usos and the New Day.
Yeah.
And that Theory was a part of that faction. It was Andrade, Theory, and Garza.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, the main roster thing wasn't kind to him, but it's like when they first signed him, and he showed up on AEW, I tuned in to watch, man. Well, like I didn't tune in to watch, but I watched that. Like I was interested. I was really interested. I was like, what does he have? Same thing with Cesaro. So like every time somebody leaves, I'm always like, okay, well, not always, but generally I'm like, let me see what they have. Let me see what they got.
Right.
And then Andrade started talking, and I was like, oh, I see. I was like, in my mind, it's like, I see why they let him go. But
Mm.
I don't know if they let him go. But either way, I saw why he was gone. It's like, it's not necessarily that he doesn't speak English that well. That's not the problem, man. The problem is it's like it was just a cookie cutter character.
Well, and that's why I think like when it comes to WWE, like you have to be able to adjust your characters.
Yeah.
It might not have to be a lot, but a little goes a long way. And stuff like that. And maybe like these people just aren't able to make those little tweaks and be that sincere in their character, even if it's tweaked a little bit. I think we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier with like MJF and Wyatt and Undertaker and all them. Like
I
it's
just
like
want
even like Aleister Black, he goes to AEW and now he's Malachi Black. It's almost the same character.
yeah.
He didn't change at all.
But it
Really.
just didn't go over.
Right. Yeah. And the same thing was kind of happened with Andrade. I think that AEW had like a chance to like have Andrade be like super good, and where like they had like a clean, like a nice slate to like
To bring him in.
I don't know, like yeah, but like to like bring this like new elevation to him and his character, but
Mm-hmm.
it felt flat like so fast.
It did. We felt flat the first time he spoke, which was his
Right.
first appearance.
Right, and then they brought on Chavo the next week or something, or whoever it was. Yeah,
Oh yeah, Chavo Guerrero.
no,
And Chavo Guerrero's got heat with Tony Khan.
that Latino heat.
Well, didn't he get in trouble? Was it AEW? That's where he got in trouble. What's happening with
Yo,
Chavo.
Chavo didn't get in trouble. So Chavo was written off TV,
Mm-hmm.
and because Andrade or had to go finish Young Rock, because Chavo's been like producing or something like that on Young Rock.
Oh, cool.
So Tony Khan was like, go finish Young Rock. Come to me when you're ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Chavo Guerrero said, like on an interview. And apparently, Chavo Guerrero's how did it come out? I think Chavo Guerrero's profile was either removed from the AEW website or something. And Chavo was like all upset about it. He was like, "Dude, I didn't even get like a phone call or nothing." Like, he told me to go shoot Young Rock, which I did, and then I was gonna come. There's gonna be a place for me when I was ready, or whatever he said.
And that was it.
Yep.
Hmm. Okay. So he was helping Andrade, and then they just didn't bring him back.
No, sir.
Okay. I think Andrade's got the look. I think I'm just gonna take your word for it that he's a good wrestler. Um, I really haven't seen too much of Andrade as far as wrestling goes. But see, like as far as I'm concerned, wrestling is like the last thing. If you're not sincere, if you just can't get over, then what's the point? It's like there's nothing wrong with trying over and over again with different gimmicks if you can't get it. Like, you just keep on trying, whatever, Like maybe some companies will quit on you, but you just keep on trying. But if you're not, I mean, if something's not going over and you switch companies and you're still not getting over, it's like you got to change something, Something's
Right,
got to change.
right.
There's one thing that MJF said in an interview that I thought was kind of hilarious. but he talked about how clueless, and of course this was all in character, all right? So take that with a grain of salt. But he talked about most people in backstage are clueless as to characters, all that stuff. Basically, what he was insinuating. I think he called them drooling imbeciles, which I thought was like, yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to what MJF is saying. He's just, it's like, you got to be able to adapt, man. And it's like I feel like Andrade. I feel like I almost feel the same way about Andrade as I did about Cesaro. Like when they first showed up, I thought Cesaro was main event star. I was like, come on, Cesaro can do this. It's like, well, what does he need? We even spent like 3 hours talking about Cesaro, one of our early podcasts. Like how WWE could utilize Cesaro, could help him out, And it was always kind of like tipping towards a heel, Cesaro as a heel. And unfortunately in AEW, I was like, it was the complete opposite of what I thought of Cesaro. Like I felt like they actually kept him back in WWE a little bit. Like somebody didn't allow him to do 30 freaking uppercuts in one match, one after the other. Somebody in AEW is like, in WWE was like, no. And I feel like AEW is definitely letting the talent, do a lot more work, do their own thing versus, trying to script them too much or trying to tell them what to do too much. I think that's where AEW was like, this is what it used to be in wrestling. That's what maybe it's like. Let me know what you guys think, but I think AEW is thinking this is what it used to be like in wrestling. We would talk about the finish, and if there's anything that needs to be touched on during the match or during the promo, that's it. The rest of it is an art form of the wrestlers themselves, and let them do their thing. And AEW seems like that was a thing that's how they started. How they were like, let's let wrestlers do their work. But just how we talked about Chris Jericho being your top star, it's like it's a different type of person, wrestler today, if that makes sense. It's a different type of person, and they are scripting more. That's what I'm getting from listening to podcasts and interviews of different wrestlers, from today and yesterday. And that they talk about, like somebody like Hulk Hogan or Randy Hogan. If you remember what you said about Hulk Hogan, it's like he wasn't interesting to you at all, and then just like in Hulk Hogan's heyday, man, Hulk Hogan was the most over wrestler ever in the history of wrestling, and all these the new wrestlers are that they're a different type of person than what Hulk Hogan was, what all those old wrestlers were. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're scripting more. They're it's just a different animal, like almost altogether. And so you're letting those guys who work better, maybe more scripted. It's just like I guess everyone's different anyway, but I just feel like letting them do their thing is like, okay, shit. This is even worse than what they were in WWE. So what do we do now? It's like, how do you help them? Like, how do you help Andrade get better? Like, because if he's wanting to leave, that means that either he thinks he's not being treated well, or B, he's not that good and he's not being treated well, and then they don't want to tell him. Or they told them, and they're like, just write out your contract.
They probably told them, hey, come with us, and we're going to put you right to the top.
Yep.
And yeah, that didn't happen. Because now you've got 10 more people right behind you that were told the same exact thing.
Yeah, the company can't really put you on top. Like, even if they give you the title.
And that's the kind of owner that he is. build this company and build it up as fast as possible, and it's gonna fall
Mm.
as fast as possible.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that Andrade and Sammy are fighting. That's
It's
it's unfortunate, but that's one way to get publicity, to get attention. It seems like anyone that kind of goes out and talks shit publicly seems to get suspended. So, gosh, man, I wish I could somehow. I'm sure it's hell for Tony Khan to book. I'm sure it's hell to book just in general.
5 shows
Yeah.
every week.
I'm sure it's hell to book. I don't care how much of a fan you are. After a while, it's like marriage. It's all nice for a while, and then after a while, you really have to work at it. You really have to be dedicated to it.
That's true.
And it's tough. I think that's where we're hitting. We're hitting the slump of AEW needs help. Their wrestlers need help. Um, it's a different fandom. It's a different viewership. It's a different type of wrestler. Like, we understand that. Um, but there's still like that hitting with the audience, man. That's really what it's about. So, like, it doesn't matter how bad of a wrestler you are in the ring. If you can hit it off with the audience, guess what? You can make it work. It's like, even if you are not the greatest talker, if you can hit it off with the audience, guess what? It's there. I mean, Daniel Bryan didn't really have the greatest mic skills. I mean, he was good, but he had a chant that involved everybody, and he was over. I mean, it's really just, it's like, that's it. And so, like, if you come in with like a um with this attitude, like, yeah, I'm good enough to be on top, like, that's great. But if the audience doesn't feel it, then you can be pissy and bitchy all you want. I feel like that's fair, and it just, maybe some things are promised that are not delivered, or maybe just people are trying to get attention one way or another because there's just way too many people vying for attention. That could be
Mhm.
it. That could be it with this feud.
Uh,
Because here we are, jobbers, talking about him. When was the last time we talked about Andrade? Today.
watch well.
So,
Yesterday. Oh no, wait, it's not after midnight. Never mind.
still 11. All right. Well, anything else to add to this? Oh, do you think Tony Khan is um, too chummy with
Too
his
chummy.
wrestlers?
No.
He is.
Okay.
Like, sure. Yeah. Maybe a little too much, huh?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, there you go. Who asked this question?
Mama's boy.
No.
Right?
Mama's Boy was the other one. Miller Time
Oh,
Limitless.
Oh, that's right.
All right. I hope that answers it. All right. Check us out. This has been Big D, Mr.
Yep.
Ryback. Mr. Ryback. Sorry, I'm cutting you guys off. Big D. See,
Yes.
there you go. It doesn't work the same way the second time around. And Mr. Ryback, this is Max Jaw, and we are the Jawbers, where we answer your questions and break your hearts all in the same hour. Check us out at jawbers.com. That is Jawbers, or thejawbers.com. Check us out on social media at thejawbers. And yeah, if we have any social media, if we put any updates, you'll see them first. But we're up on YouTube's every Sunday at after 11 p.m. your time.